In this video, we will enter a woman's mind and understand how she thinks, and I will give you a formula that will make you know exactly how to get what you want from women 99% of the time. Let me first explain to you an important concept that I want you to remember for the rest of your life. This is you, and this is a girl you like. The first thing you need to know is the way through which you can get what you want from her. It's by putting her in an emotional state where she wants to do what you want her to do. She must be the one who wants to do what you want, meaning not because she's afraid of you, or because she's doing what you want just because you have money and she wants that money, and so on. So focus well on this sentence, because this is what the entire video will revolve around: how to make a woman want to do what you want her to do. The second thing I want you to understand in this concept is that for a girl to do what you want, meaning the behavior you want, this behavior must come from emotions, not from logic. How is that? This, unfortunately, is the biggest problem men have, and I'm sure you're one of them. You project your mind onto hers. For example, if you and I went out today and sat in a restaurant and had lunch and you paid for lunch, the next time we go out to eat, I would be the one paying, because this is something clear. You don't need to tell me and I don't need to tell you, and we'll continue like that and life goes on. Everything is clear. Women don't understand this. Women are stupid. A woman's behavior comes from her emotions, not from her logic. But the problem we have now is, how do you make that happen? Don't worry, I'll give you a strategy you can start applying very easily. But before you start applying this strategy, and even before you talk to that girl, there are two things you need to understand, especially in the beginning when you're just starting to get to know the girl. The first thing is intention. Please listen to me carefully. What I've found is that most men, when they start talking to a woman, don't really know what outcome they want from the interaction. They don't know where they're going or what final result they want. They see a woman they want to talk to and think, oh, I should talk to her, but they don't really know where it's gonna go or what they're trying to get out of it. When you start a conversation with a woman, you need to define what you want from the very beginning. Do you want to get her phone number, to try to bring her back to your place, to set up a date, to plant the seeds for a future meeting? When you don't know what your intention is and you don't know what the final result you want is, it's like you're lost at sea with no real idea of how to move forward. How do you expect a girl to give you what you want when you yourself don't know what you want? At the same time, and this is something many guys face, they say to themselves, okay, I talked to her and she was willing to talk to me, now what? The problem many guys have isn't that they're afraid of rejection, but rather the fear is often that she'll actually be open to talking to them, and then they will be forced to keep the conversation going. It becomes like, now what? Okay, she's ready to talk to me. What now? If you don't have a clear intention or goal for the conversation, you won't know what your next step is. I also found that a lot of guys talk to women just to validate themselves. What I mean is, they approach women and just want to talk to them so they feel better about themselves just for having talked to a woman, but they don't really have a clear goal. Why did I tell you all this? And why did I focus so much on the issue of intention? Because it's what will allow you to lead the conversation. What most guys do is expect a girl to raise a sign and say, hey, now it's okay to move to the next level. Now you can start flirting. Now you can tell me a story. Now you can do this. Women will not give you those signals. She won't tell you it's okay to start teasing her. She won't say you can begin asking personal questions. She won't say, hey, now you can get more sexual. All of these things, as a man, are your responsibility. When you have a goal or direction in the conversation, you are always moving toward it. Yes, there will be obstacles along the way. Sometimes you'll take a wrong turn and get off track, but you'll always be able to get back because you've mapped out a clear path to where you want to take things. But if you don't have a roadmap, the first obstacle you face, or the first time a woman gives you a reaction you don't know how to handle, or tests you, or seems offended, or gives you a sign that you messed up, you'll retreat because you didn't know where you were going in the first place. When you know your destination, you adjust your approach accordingly. You take a step back, then move forward again, and keep going forward. This doesn't mean you keep going until you get there no matter what. It doesn't mean every woman will give you her number just because you intended to get it. And it doesn't mean every woman will go home with you just because you intended that. But there's a big difference, and I want you to really think about it. Think back to some of your recent conversations. Did you not get her number because she said no and you kept trying but couldn't get it? You got lost and didn't think of asking for it? You weren't sure, so you didn't go for it. Chances are you didn't get the number because it wasn't your goal, and during the conversation, you never really tried to get it. You didn't move toward it, and you didn't give her a chance to say no. The same thing with taking a girl home. Have you ever talked to a girl and thought, you know what? I think she'd actually agree to come home with me. I feel attraction between us. But you didn't try because that wasn't your intention. You didn't intend to do that, so you didn't try. And instead, you made the decision for her and said, duh, she probably wouldn't want to. And this is a very important point I've always wanted to tell you. Girls die for the guy who isn't shy, who doesn't have those social restraints, who speaks directly and shows his intentions from the beginning. This is something that truly attracts women. Now, I'm not saying every girl will want to go home with you or that every girl will give you her number. What I'm saying is that when you start talking to a girl and you have an idea of what you want from the interaction, you keep moving toward it until you get a clear no. If she's not feeling you, she'll give you a clear no. That no could be something like, hey, I have to get up early for work tomorrow. I really can't go home with you tonight. At least you'll know you tried. If you see a girl in Starbucks and say, hey, I want to talk to her, what is it that you actually want from the interaction? Yes, you want to find out first if you're compatible, but after that, what do you want? Do you want to try to take her out on an instant date? Do you want her number? Do you want her Instagram so you can follow up later? You need to know these things going in. The second and more important part of intention is that once you have a clear goal in your mind, you must make a firm decision to go for it, and you pursue it 100%. You don't go for it with one foot in the door and the other ready to run away. You go for it with the decision that you're going to do everything you can to achieve the result you want. Now you've understood with me what intention is, how to have it, and why it's important. And now let me explain to you the second thing, and I'll go over it quickly because I've explained it many times and I'll explain it again in the next part of the video. And that is your attention. Your attention is a form of currency. Most men spend it recklessly, giving it away without standards. They think that being constantly available, highly responsive, and always engaged will make the girl like them more. But the opposite is true. When your attention is too easy to get, it loses all its value. She doesn't respect it and she doesn't put in any effort to earn it. And now, after understanding these two principles, you'll be able to understand the strategy I want you to start applying to get what you want from women 99% of the time. Do you remember earlier when I told you that a woman behaves based on her emotions? So the strategy I'm going to share with you now is built on something that exists in the brain of all people, and especially in a woman's brain, and that is what's known as the emotional feedback loop. This is what controls 90% of a woman's behavior when she is with a man. You need to know how to control her emotional feedback loop, and the way to do that is through one thing: reward and punishment. When you reward a certain behavior, it strengthens and grows, and when you ignore or withdraw from a certain behavior, it weakens and dies. That's it. This applies to dogs, children, employees, friends, and yes, women. And while most women do this automatically with men, rewarding confidence and punishing neediness, most men have no idea that they should be doing the same thing in return. The basic principle of reward and punishment is that you encourage and reinforce the behaviors that you like and that support your interaction with the woman, and you discourage or stop the behaviors that you don't like and that harm your interaction with her. It's a very simple concept. If a woman does something good, reward her. If she does something bad, stop it or show disapproval. But in reality, men don't always execute this correctly. But before I explain more, you need to understand something important, which is that a woman doesn't know what you like and what you don't like. As I told you earlier at the beginning of the video, maybe you and I, if I bought you a drink today and paid for it, next time you would pay for me. We men understand this between us. A woman doesn't. You have to tell her what you like and what you don't like. Don't expect her to know this on her own. You are a man. You need to be clear and direct. Sometimes a woman might do something you don't like for the first time. Here, you have to be clear with her and tell her that you don't like it. But if she repeats it again, that's when you need to punish her. And don't worry, I'll explain how punishment works, because many guys get angry and start yelling. No, that's not how you do this. But before I explain it to you, please listen to me carefully as if your life depends on it. What do most men do when women start to pout and complain? Most men rush to do whatever the woman is complaining about. What does a woman learn when she sees a man respond that way to her pouting and complaining? She learns that anytime she wants something from her man, all she has to do is pout and complain. Do you think that man will see less complaining from his woman after he gives her what she wants, or more? The answer is obvious. People figure out what works and they use it. In this case, the woman acted negatively and the man gave her what she wanted. Instead of punishing her for bad behavior, he rewarded and reinforced it. You should never react based on the woman's behavior. If you want to give your girlfriend something she wants, you should give it to her because you want to, not because she started complaining. In an ideal world, men would reward women who do nice things for them. But do most men do this consistently? Not really. Think of a man whose girlfriend does something really sweet for him. She dresses up nicely one day or cooks him an extravagant meal. What does he do? Maybe he makes a small comment. You look beautiful today, baby. Or this meal is really good. Some men don't even say that. Do you think she feels truly appreciated or feels a wave of good emotions that would make her want to do it again? But what if, when his girl dressed up, the man told her she looked absolutely stunning and elegant and told her exactly what he he liked about her outfit, the style of the dress, or the way she did her hair, then took her passionately to bed, do you think she'd want to dress up for him again? That's the kind of relationship you want to build with women. A relationship built on rewarding good behavior, spreading positive emotions, and bringing happiness to both sides. That's what makes a woman invest emotionally, build loyalty, and feel that she plays an important role in the relationship. So, the question is, how do you do this? Let's start first with rewarding. There are several ways to reward a woman for behavior you like, and the top three are: 1. Giving her more attention, focusing your eyes on her more intently, leaning in to listen to her, opening your body language, or facing her fully. This is especially used if she says something interesting or very positive during the conversation. 2. Complimenting her or pointing out the traits you like. It's good to highlight the qualities and traits you like in women. Even if those traits appear occasionally, make sure to compliment her when you notice them, to encourage her to show them more often. For example, if the woman seems distracted at the beginning of the meeting, then later becomes more attentive, you can say after a few minutes, "I really like how focused you are now. It's refreshing." The reason you don't say this right away is because you don't want to appear like you're reacting immediately to her behavior. 3. Giving her physical touch or stimulation. If she says something fun or funny or does something nice, like buying you a drink or offering you some of her food, take the opportunity to touch her as you thank her. Touch does many good things, including showing her that you genuinely appreciate her and communicating that your touch is a good thing, something she earns through her good behavior. And now, let's talk about punishment and how it should be, but a very important note. Punishment should never make you appear upset, and it should never be over the top. You should not seem emotionally affected by the woman's negative behavior. Unless the behavior is truly bad, use your judgment. Instead, you want to send her the message that you don't have time for unproductive behavior. The word punishment itself might sound a bit harsh. What we're really doing is weakening negative behavior. Here are the basic ways to do that. Withdrawing attention. When a woman starts behaving negatively, for example, she starts making rude jokes about you, or implies that you're not good enough for her, or starts talking about other men chasing her, show boredom. Reduce your attention towards her. Let your gaze drift away. Slowly lean back in your seat. Let your interest fade and pull away. It's important for this to seem subtle and not exaggerated, because big reactions like turning your back can come off as dramatic and childish, and women will react to them as a form of entertainment rather than a real threat of losing you. This becomes especially important as you grow more socially experienced. The more socially skilled you become, the more you must aim for increased subtlety and refinement in your responses. Displaying indifference. When a woman says something you don't like, it's okay to be indifferent and change the topic. For example, if she's telling you about her ex-boyfriend and then suddenly says she thinks all men are pigs, you could respond with something like, "Only the ones who live in barns. Anyway, what happened after you found out your ex had another girlfriend?" I also call this technique steamrolling, as in, she started saying things that were pulling us in the wrong direction, so I rolled over them and brought us back to something more productive. And by the way, if you want to learn more about how a conversation should go, and you're interested in mastering the art of talking to women, I spent the past few weeks writing a book specifically on this topic, and it's completely free. You'll find the book in the first comment. And this was The Dark Needle. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.